Hey folks, it's Reid back with another episode of Frost Bites. I'm really excited to share this episode with you today. I spoke to rookie Minnesota Frost defender Brooke Becker, and we had a great conversation. We talked about her perspective on her hockey career and how that has shifted over time. We also talked about her draft day experience and how she sort of unexpectedly got to share that with a lot of former teammates. And then we also talked about her transition to the PWHL and how she's, basically a mainstay now on the Frost back line. It was a great conversation. Super excited to share it. Brooke was a great guest. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for tuning in. I have Brooke Becker with me today, joining me on the show. Brooke, thank you so much for coming on. It's great to have you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. We got some sun today, so I can't
Mm-hmm.
complain. I can't complain too much. Doing pretty well.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for
Um,
having me.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Of course. Thanks for doing this. Let's start big picture right away. 17 games into the season, which feels crazy. 16 that you've been a part of. Like,
hmm
to start your PWHL career, what stood out to you? Is there like a big takeaway you've had on the ice, off the ice, that's really stood out or been different for you?
Yeah, I think just in general, the speed of the game and the decision making, everything's just so much faster coming from college. Um, in a good way, obviously, in a challenging way, and I love that you go to the rink every day and you're challenged. Not only when you get there off the ice, but you're challenged on the ice in everything you're doing, whether it's speed or decision making or any facet of the game. It's a challenge, it's a grind, and that's definitely been the biggest change for me is like that speed adjustment.
Yeah, I love that you said that. I feel like I've heard that from a number of people.
Mhm.
Was that obvious to you, like first day of training camp? You get on the ice with the Frost, and it's like, okay, this. I mean, because you've obviously played at very high levels, but like this is a
Mhm.
bit of a different. This is a different speed. It's going to take me a minute to kind of get used to this. Was it obvious right away?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits that I had, or that I think that me and a couple of the other girls, a couple of the other rookies did when we got here is we got here a couple weeks early. So we got here a couple weeks before training camp, and we got on the ice with some of the girls, some of the Olympic and national team girls before we actually got on the ice with them in training camp. And I truly think that made a huge difference for us. We got to see it firsthand ahead of time what the skill, what the level was like. And then we started training camp actually without those girls because of the worlds. I think it was worlds was going on at that point. Um, so then it was like, okay, we're really fast. Now we're in a rhythm. And then they came back and it was like, yep, go time. So I think it was good of us to start at a level, see it, get to experience it. But I remember like the first or second day that we were there and we were practicing with them, me, myself, and my roommates who are all rookies as well. We were like, oh my God. Like this is crazy. So in a good way. But you know, you don't ever think you're gonna be playing or line mates or defensive partners with some of these people, and then all of a sudden you are. So it's very cool.
Yeah, totally. Maybe good then, like you were saying, to like get a taste of it and then get to step back a little bit with those players not being at
For
training
sure.
camp to kind of be like, okay, settle in a little bit and
Yeah,
then get back to it.
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you were speaking about some of your rookie teammates. You have played with some of these Frost rookies before, if I'm not mistaken, sort of pre college. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. I actually played with, Kendall Cooper and Vanessa Upson, and we all played at Stony Creek Junior Sabres, in Hamilton, Ontario together. Would have been my senior year of high school, so a little while
Yeah,
ago,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
it was nice to at the draft, we all got drafted together, and then, we actually all lived together too, so along with, Ava Rinker, um, who I actually played against in college, so, like,
Right.
knew of her. Um, so it was just a very smooth and easy transition for us, which was great. it made coming out, to a brand new place, brand new city, brand new state, right? That much easier to do it with friends and to do it with, people you're comfortable with, people you've played against. So, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, totally. To help with that transition process, y'all probably had a pretty good team that year. I would imagine
Oh
with all
yeah.
of you on it, you were probably scoring some goals. Pretty good team.
We were I like I we always talk about this because it's hilarious, but like we always said we would like win it all that year, and now looking back, like Meg Warner was on that team. She's at Montreal. Um uh Messier,
Right, right.
Lauren Messier. I'm sorry. I just call her Mess, so like
That
we
works
always
too. That works too.
but Lauren Messier was on that team. She's on Toronto. A bunch of names that, played in at Division 1 schools were on that team. So we were a really solid team, and we loved it. And so it's funny to see that, it's coming full circle and a lot of these girls are back and playing in the PWHL. So,
Yeah, totally. Totally. You mentioned your draft day experience and like getting to do that with them, which I would imagine would be very special.
mhm.
Curious if you could just speak a little more about that draft day experience. Like, did you curious if you had any idea that Minnesota was where you were going to end up, or was it, kind of go in pretty open? And then, yeah, what did it feel like to not only get drafted but also get to share that experience with, former teammates and people
Yeah.
you're close to?
Um, I'll start off by saying no, I did not know I was gonna be drafted.
Perfect.
I kinda went there hoping and praying,
Yeah.
I was gonna get drafted, um, but I had no expectations. I had just a lot of hope and a lot of work and hope that everything that I put forth in college kinda would get me there, and then it did, which is great. Very happy with Minnesota and happy thus far with, everything they've done so far for me. Um, I The experience itself was unlike anything I've ever done before. Um, Obviously, you're sitting there and you're nervous and your heart's beating the whole time because you have no idea what's happening. You have no idea if you're gonna be next. Um, no idea where your life could take you in the next, 9 months, right? Like, could I be in Seattle? Could I be in Minnesota? Like, no idea. So, it was just I felt very prideful and very happy, um, super excited, just seeing my mom, so excited, my aunt so excited they were with me, and then, the first couple of people that ran up to me were Stony parents, and then it clicked in my head because at first I was like, "Oh, like, yeah, okay, the other girls got drafted too, I'm so happy for them," and then I was like, "Oh my god, they're coming up to me because we all got drafted to the same team," and that's when, like, Kendall ran up to me at the end right before I got on the stage, and she was like, "We're all playing together again," and I was like, "Oh my god." That like, it all clicked, and I was like, "Oh my god, we're all going back to, like, the same place again," and truly, it was just such a special moment. Um, those are the kind of things, like, as a little girl, you're like I mean, you dream of them, and you don't think it could ever happen, and when I was a little girl, I didn't think it was ever gonna happen because truly, I didn't have a league. There wasn't a league at the time that it was like, "Oh, yeah, great." So, very blessed, very excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I'm sure, like you said, like you have so much going on in the moment that
Yeah,
it's yeah, of course, it doesn't click right away that like, oh my gosh, all these people that I played with before, I'm going to get to play with again. But yeah,
yeah,
that's so lovely. It reminds me of something I was curious about, the sort of the end of what you were saying. Like you said, like as a girl, but even like as you went to college, the outlook for like what hockey could look like for you post college,
mhm,
really changed while you were in school, and kind of,
yeah,
what the future could look like. Could you, just like talk about what that experience was like for you, like going into college and then when the PWHL sort of came about, and it's, was it pretty early on? You're like, okay, like great, this is what I want. Yeah, what
yeah,
curious about that. Yeah.
for sure. I let's start with going into college. Going to
Yes.
college um, was peak of COVID for me.
Right.
So honestly, scatterbrain central, I was like, okay, let's just get there and let's make it work and, try to enjoy it. The first year was really difficult for me and for everybody who started at that time. It's just hard to meet people, make friends. Like
Totally.
being on a team, we were more sheltered from, going out and doing things and seeing the place, right? But nowhere in the back of my mind at that point was I like, "Oh, yeah, like, I could play hockey after this," like, after school, like, I was just trying to make it through the first year and, like,
Right.
get over the COVID hump, right? And then I feel like by my junior year, that's kind of when things started to develop a little bit more, and I think at that point there were 2 leagues happening at the same time, so I think, you know, in my head, it was still kind of like, well, it's not really organized enough to a point where, like, I feel comfortable being like, "That's exactly what I wanna do after college," right?
Mhm.
So it's actually in my junior year that I decided I had an extra year for COVID. I applied to grad school my junior year and actually started it my senior year. Um, I was ahead. I was like, I want to do my MBA. I want to get my professional career, ahead and my professional career in business management ahead. Like, I want to be in a good place there before I can really, consider moving up anywhere else with hockey. And then by my I guess by the beginning of my 5th year, I was like, "Oh, well, this could really be a potential for me." You know, post post college, and I guess I still didn't really think about it, but in my head, I really wanted to have the best year I could
Mhm.
and to put up the most I could and to really just, like, leave it all out there for Providence College and, like, for myself, for my family, for the school. I'm, like, loyal to that school like no other. I love that school, but, um, it really wasn't until the season was over that I was like, my coaches were like, "So are you entering the draft?" And I was like, "I didn't really put it all together, like, maybe." And we had some discussions and they were like, "Yeah, like, I think you should just give it a shot, like,
Right. Right.
throw your name in." So I was like, "Okay." So then I was, like, looking up agencies and doing all the work to, like, get into it, and I was like, "This is crazy, like, I'm not this person," right? Like, just a normal person that happens to be pretty good at hockey.
Right.
Um, so finally, I found a good agency, and they helped me get through all of it, and I got to do, like, a camp with them over the summer last summer, and that was great. Um, that was, like, just after I got drafted, and I was like, "This feels really good," and, like, it's a fun community to be a part of. You feel so supportive or so supported by all the people that you meet, not only just, like, players and teammates and staff, but also, like, my agency and all the players within that, so that's kinda how it all unfolded, and for me, I guess it really wasn't as planned as, like, some people I know are, like, they're getting out of school and they were like, "This is what I'm doing."
Right.
So, for me, it was kind of like, "Well, is it an option?"
Yeah.
So,
Y-
very, very happy that it was.
Yeah. That's fascinating to hear, and I feel like from what I see from the press box, it feels like you were. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you were out of the lineup for the first game, and then have
Yeah.
basically been in since game two on. And it's from what I've seen, like it's your transition into the lineup, and then just playing regularly has felt so smooth and just sort of kind of like you've been there for a while and
Yeah.
just steady. And I'm sure it hasn't felt like that for you, or maybe it
Mhm.
has. But yeah, has there been, someone, a coach or a player with the Frost? And I know you talked about skating with the Olympians, in the summer beforehand, but like somebody that's like helped you make that transition, and like, how's it felt for you? Has it,
Yeah.
yeah,
The transition itself for sure is a changer. I think myself and a lot of girls that have to come out of college from a place where like maybe they were the best girl there, right? Or one of the top couple. You transition to a league where like you're not the best and that's okay. And I'm okay with not being the best for sure. I'm always gonna continue to work, to get in the lineup and to stay in the lineup and,
totally.
maintain what I can, playtime wise and whatever else. But it is a difficult transition because I think more than anything, it's a mental transition. And sometimes those are a lot harder than the physical ones, right? So for me, like that was the hardest transition was to be like, okay, you're good. You're just going to work to achieve what you did, just like you're a freshman in college again, you
Right.
know? Um, so that was definitely a tough transition to make, but I think we have the right, like, psychological coaching here, and every team I think does too. But we have great, staff support across the board from, Coach Ken, Coach Decker, all the way through to our training staff and our psychological staff and whatever you want to call it, like
Mhm.
they're all helping to make that transition for us. But there is an element too of it that's like, you're 10 games in, you're 15 games in, like you're a pro now. Like, we can't hold your hand the whole way through, right? So so that part of it, like that's where we're at now, kind of. So
Right.
so now I just gotta like keep it going and keep the transition going. But very happy that I've been able to play in all those games. Um, not expecting it always, but I'm gonna try to continue to stay in the lineup and make meaningful impact on the game. But yeah, I mean, so far so good, and I'm truly just trying to make simple plays and play good defense and help contribute where I can, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You talk about that transition, like especially coming to the Frost too, that had their blue line, so sort of shifted and transitioned after this year with like the draft or with the
Mhm.
expansion draft and things like that. Like coming in, it was if you're good enough, you're going to play. And yeah, you've really stepped in. I feel like you mentioned quickly there at the end, but also just curious, like for your keys to the game, when you're thinking about your game, you're thinking about what you're trying to do out there and sort of the things you look back on after a game and you're like, I did XYZ, I feel like I played well. What are some of those things for you that you like to try to check off?
Yeah, I think a lot of the times I really want to be a physical presence on the ice. I think that's one facet of my game that's different than others on the team. So I think just like making sure, I'm playing good defense, but like following through and taking people out when I can. Um, I think another part of it is just trying to be as involved offensively as possible. You know, as reliable as I wanna be on the back end, like, they also want us jumping up in the play and, like, being a part of the offense and trying to get shots through, and that's gotta be a part of my game as well. But honestly, just, like, consistent good plays, passes, those are the things that I think good teams do right, is just be super consistent through all 3 periods, and that's gonna be, the biggest challenge in these games coming down the line is just, like, how consistent can we stay and consistently good? And for me, like, I need to play as consistently good as I can, making the right plays, doing the right things, making the hits where I need to hit, so that'll be my biggest challenge.
Yeah, totally. You kind of read my mind here for this last one. I feel like y'all had some good momentum sort of heading into the Olympic break, and then
Mhm.
everybody takes a break for whatever it was, 3 weeks, a month, watches some incredible hockey,
Yeah.
and now we come back. how do you, yourself, but also like as a team, how do you guys build momentum back up after this break? I know you have some home games coming up, takeover tour games. Like how do you build momentum after the break?
Yeah. I think just continuing to get back to like what we were doing before and just I think it truly starts week to week, like starting off with a good week of practice, getting and feeling comfortable and confident going into the weekend. Um, I I always think like confidence is everything. You can you can feel however you wanna feel, but, like, if you feel confident walking in that game, like, there's a different level mental level of the game that you just achieve when you're there and you're like, "Yeah, we're gonna win this game, like, we're good." Um, and I think it also, eases your mind a little when you're in a game where it might be tight and you're like, "Okay, we're good." Like, having that confidence to just come back down and stay kinda here and not ride the highs and lows is gonna be, I think, key for us. 'Cause, we come back from break and we have a tough game. We haven't played together in quite some time, right? It's gonna happen, but it was 1 game, you know? So all we have to do kinda is get back to what we know, and I think that is, like, starting off in practice week to week, having really good practices, coming in super confident on the weekend, and then showing up.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Yeah, it's as easy as that. It's as
yeah.
easy as
I
that.
mean, You know, every game's gonna be different, and that's the part of the game that, that's why people watch is because you can't always play 100% all the time. If everybody was perfect all the time, it wouldn't be a very fun game to watch. Um, that's why it is fun is because there are mistakes and people
Totally.
capitalize off of them, right? Um but if we can minimize those and play the best we can, I think we'll go into the weekend just fine. Really happy so far this week with how we've been doing. So very excited about the weekend. We got 2 big games, so and a fun one too, the takeover game. So very excited and yeah, just bringing the confidence. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Brooke, thank you so much for doing this. It was lovely to hear your perspective and the outlook moving forward. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.